and even in other countries. So over the 25 chapters in the US, Canada, and China, we've accumulated over a network of over 25,000 NAAAP supporters and members. And for us, we've always wanted to find a way to be connected, especially, we have people of so many different professional levels, so many different backgrounds, and we wanted to get people connected with one another. So we were approached by Grace Chow, who's the founder of KIP101, and she has a really great platform to talk to you today in terms of helping each other get advanced professionally and really give back to the community this year. So a little bit about Grace is that she has worked in finance, consulting, and education before finding KIP101 on her own. Her experiences include serving as the managing director of a successful consulting firm that she helped build from scratch. And she was the founding board treasurer of a high-performing charter school for underprivileged children that she helped establish. Grace also has an MBA from Columbia University and a bachelor's from Carnegie Mellon University. And she really hopes that the platform she's going to talk to you today about is going to help us in NAAAP and really just advance our professional careers. So I'm going to let Grace go ahead and start talking about her platform.
Thank you, Michelle. It's terrific to be here with you all today and to be launching this partnership with NAAAP. With its large and diverse body of members who love to help each other and give back to the community, NAAAP is in many ways the ideal partner for KIP101 to pioneer our platform with. So I'm extremely grateful to Cindy, Eileen, Michelle, and other members of the NAAAP team for supporting this partnership. So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself to start off. I was born in Taiwan, and I grew up in both Taiwan and the US. I split my early years between California, the Midwest, Kansas, and Taipei, and then moved back to, spent most of my middle school and high school years in Taiwan, and then moved back to the US, where I went to college in Pittsburgh, and then went to New York, where I worked for a decade in, as Michelle had said, in finance, consulting, and education. And I am someone who's very passionate about work. I like to work, and I think it's one of the best things in the world when you're working a job that you find to be meaningful and fulfilling. And conversely, I think it's one of the worst things in the world when you're working a job that you don't care about, or is misaligned with your talents, or is simply not worth what you're putting into it. And sadly, most people fall into that latter camp. In the US, for example, 2/3 of the workforce are not engaged at work, where engaged means being highly involved in, enthusiastic about, and committed to their work and workplace. And so in the US, 2/3 of all workers, that's over 100 million people, are not highly involved in, are not enthusiastic about, and are not committed to their work. Globally, that number is even higher, at a staggering 85% or so. And seeing this problem is what spurred me to create KIP101. I want to help people thrive at work, especially those people who have worked extremely hard and yet have not hit their best stride or achieved their full potential, which I think happens to be true for many Asian Americans in particular. So I wanted to try to help change the situation and help bring about a world where people are generally excited about and committed to their work, as opposed to being generally indifferent or downright unhappy. And, obviously, this is a big goal, and there are many people working towards this goal on many different fronts. But I think one of the fronts that has been relatively left under the radar is helping people get the information they need to make the best career decisions. Career services experts will tell you that the best kept secret to career development is informational interviews, which is the technical term for conversations you have with someone to learn about their professional experiences and to gain career insights and advice. And many people don't know this term or even this concept. And that's really unfortunate, because sometimes all it takes is one conversation or one insight to take your career into a whole nother trajectory that is better. And so people invest, people do a lot of things to try to get ahead. They'll invest a ton in their education. They will put in long hours at work. They'll diligently job search. But what they often fall short on is gathering critical career intelligence, of getting wind of the opportunities and challenges and trends in their workplace. And that's why, I found KIP101. I wanted to create a platform which makes it very easy for people to obtain career insights, for every person to obtain career insights. And so let me tell you now how the platform will do that. And give me a second here to share my screen. So there are two ways that KIP101 helps people get career insights right now. The first is one-on-one career conversations on demand, which refers to KIP101's mentoring and networking functionality, whereby you can reach out to professionals on KIP101 who have offered to share their career insights. And when you reach out to them, you can expect to hear back from them. That is what we mean by the on-demand aspect of the platform. And this is a real differentiating factor for KIP101, because there's no other platform that I know of that offers on-demand connections. And I'm going to take you actually into the platform in just a minute. And at that point, I'll point out some of the design elements that makes the on-demand possible. The second feature that KIP101 offers is career path reviews at your fingertips. And this refers to KIP101's Knowledge Bank feature. The Knowledge Bank is a library of people's candid reviews of their own career paths. And the goal here is to allow everyone to instantly access the collective career wisdom of professionals of all walks and backgrounds. And so with this, let me take you into the platform now. The platform itself is located at app.kip101.com. And I'm going to log in. And feel free to just sit back and watch a tour for now. We've reserved a few minutes later to help walk everyone through the sign-up process, so you don't need to sign up right now. Once you do sign up, you'll first be taken to the profile module. And you'll see, let me move this down here. You'll see all the modules are laid out on the left-hand side here, so that's how you control, the various features of the app. So when you first sign up, you'll be taken to the profile module. We'll go over this in more detail later. It's pretty straightforward, but the field that I want to draw your attention to right now is the user type. And this is where any user for KIP101 needs to self-identify as either knowledge seeker or knowledge provider or both. And the reason being is that we only want knowledge providers, people who have raise their hand to say, I'm willing to share career insights with other people, to be visible on the platform and to be searchable by other users. So if you're someone who's very private and you're thinking, I'm only going to use the platform as a way for me to get career insights at this point, then you could just indicate you're a knowledge seeker. But if you're willing to help other people and share your knowledge with other people, then you can say, I'm a knowledge provider. And then when you do that, we ask you to indicate your availability. Meaning, under what format are you willing to share your knowledge? And hold on here, let me see if I can move this bar out of the way. Okay. So currently, as we discussed on the platform, you can share your knowledge in two ways, either through written content in the knowledge bank or through one-on-one conversations or through both. And so if you say written content only, that's all you have to indicate, and then you can click save profile here and you'll be done. And you can go use the other features of the platform. If you, however, are willing to have conversations with other people, then we ask you to provide two other pieces of info, which is what are the kinds of people you're willing to talk to? So is it everyone, or is it only students? Is it only professionals, or is it only people from your school and your groups? And also, how many connections are you willing to have each month? And so in this way, we want to make sure that knowledge providers are not inundated with more requests than they can handle. And so, with that piece of information, when a knowledge seeker goes into the community module to look for knowledge providers to connect with, everyone that shows up in their search here has been pre-filtered based on this knowledge provider's availability. So if someone is says they're willing to talk to one person a month and they've already spoken to one person this month, then they won't show up in anyone's search until next month. Or if someone says, let's say it's a NAAAP member says, oh, I only have time to talk to other NAAAP members, then if this user is a NAAP member, then they will be able to see that NAAP provider. But if this user is not a NAAP member, then they will never see that NAAP provider in their search. So every user's search results is in effect customized. And the user herself or himself could also further narrow down the list in various ways here. So they can look for professionals in certain industries or functions or location, or they can toggle and just say, I only want to look for people from my group. And so when I do this right now, so for example, I'm in a NAAP group. And so currently there are 5 knowledge providers within the group who are available to talk to me. And as you know, we also have further sub-filters for groups. And so with NAAP, we've put in the different chapters of NAAP so that as the group grows larger, you know, this feature will become more useful because then you can search for people in specific chapters of NAAP and not just NAAP at large. So if you look and you see a card that's interesting, such as Cindy's card here, you can click and see the full profile of the knowledge provider. And if they look like a good fit and you want to talk to them, what you would do is you would click this button to message them. And at this point, you'll see that what we have built into the platform is this concept of a credit system. So the credit system has nothing to do with payment because the platform is free for everyone to use. The credit system is there to encourage certain types of productive behavior on the platform, which we can talk more about in a bit. But you know, for now, just know that if you want to connect with a new connection, you have to spend 3 credits. And we'll talk about the ways where you can earn credits as well. But before I do that, let me take you to see the Knowledge Bank module. So as I mentioned earlier, the Knowledge Bank is a repository of people's reviews of their career paths. And so if you see this one, for example, if you are interested in the public accounting tax partner path, you can look at this person's review of their path. So she talks a little bit about her work in this path. She talks about her what she perceives as the pros and cons of being on this track, and also some advice that she has for people who are interested in pursuing this career. And over here, we have a scoring. So we ask reviewers to score how satisfied they are with their career path. This person is very satisfied. She rated her path 9 out of 10. And then also some other metrics, like what industry does the path falls under, what function, where does she have this career experience, and how many years of experience, and so forth. You'll notice that in this instance, the reviewer is actually disclosed. And that's because this reviewer chose to make her profile visible and to attach it to her review. But some of the reviews are anonymous. So that's totally up to the reviewer whether or not they want to be, associate their profile with the review and allow people to reach out to them after they read the reviews. So that's the knowledge bank. And then the final module here is the dashboard. And what the dashboard is essentially a control panel where you can do various things on the platform. So the first section is connections. Any connections that you make through the platform, whether or not it's someone you reach out to, so you're the knowledge seeker and it's a knowledge provider you reach out to, or if it's a reverse where a knowledge seeker reaches out to you as a knowledge provider, any connection shows up here. And you can follow up with your connections and send them follow-up messages by clicking this button here. The other thing that you can do in this section is to leave a review of conversations that you've had with connections. And these reviews, these conversation reviews, are completely private. They're only for KIP101 team members to see, and it's for us to kind of understand how well did the conversations go, and if there are ways that we can make the platform even better. So these are private reviews, and to encourage people to give us feedback, we give people credit for leaving this review. Another way that people can earn credits is through referrals. So every user has a personal referral code that they can share with friends and invite friends to the platform. Now, just note that anyone who wants to join the platform now must have an invite code. So this isn't like a free-for-all. You must be invited somehow to join the network. And so once you become a member by joining using the NAAAP invite code, you can then use your own personal referral code to invite other people. And then we even have a little note written here so that you don't have to draft anything, but just copy and paste and send this note to your friends that tell them about the platform and tell them that they can sign up with your code. And for every friend that signs up, you get a credit for that. A final way in which you can earn credits is by leaving career path reviews of your own. So if you open a review, so if you unlock a review to read, because when you try to read reviews here, let's say you're opening this one, I haven't opened before, you're also required to spend credits to unlock them. So if, you know, reviews that you have unlocked and read are in this table here, and you can go back and reread them anytime, as many times as you like. And if you want to submit your own review, then you can write a career path review here and just fill out this pretty straightforward form. And then you'll earn 6 credits for each career path review that you submit. And so really the concept of these credit system is for us to, this is a free platform again, but we want to make sure that, you know, as users are benefiting from it, that they're also incentivized to do things to help grow the community and to help add to the knowledge base. And so, you know, the credit system is really kind of a key feature for us to try to get this network to grow and really work. And so your credits are kept track in this section here. And so you'll see anyone who signs up gets 10 credits right off the bat. And then as discussed, are various things you can do to earn credits. And then if you want to connect with someone or if you want to read a review, then you spend credits to do that. And all that's kept track here. And then the final section of this dashboard module is the groups section. And so when you sign up using a NAAAP invite code, you automatically send a request to NAAAP to join the group, which then they can, you know, accept. And then once accepted, you'll see them show up here and then that your membership status is joined. You're not limited to just one group, however. So if you belong to some other organization or school that also has the KIP101 group and you have their invite code, then you can put their code in here and join that group as well. So you can have as many, you can be as, you know, part of it, you know, in theory, infinite number of groups. And then when you go back to the community module, then when you search for knowledge providers and you switch this toggle on, all of the people in your various groups and schools will show up for you. And so that is how the platform works. Next up, I'm going to show you guys how to sign up and complete your profile. But before we do that, does anyone have any questions about how any of this works? We also have a Q&A session later, so you can also ask then. But if there's anything pressing that you want to ask now, feel free to just unmute and speak.
Hey, Grace, this is Rowdy from Experian here in Austin, Texas.
Oh,
this is awesome. Thank you for taking the time to share. How big is the network and how long has it been running?
So it is just starting up. So right now there's about 500 users on the platform. We started onboarding, I'm trying to think, we started onboarding groups over the summer. And so
okay.
Yeah.
Great. And now this might be an ignorant question. As I've started my new role in managing our diversity external partnerships at Experian, and NAAAP is one of them. This isn't a NAAAP product, correct? This is just something that you are partnering on NAAAP with?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we're partnering with NAAAP, and NAAAP has created a group on the platform. And so Cindy, who's a group owner, she has an additional module here where she could manage the group.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
Sure. All right. So let me walk you guys through the sign up process. That would just take a few minutes, and then we can have a more extended time for Q&A afterwards. So to sign up, what you would do is go to KIP101.com and the sign up page, and then you would enter NAAAP 39, which is NAAAP's invite code, in recognition that this is NAAAP's 39th year. And you can select your identity, whether you're knowledge seeker, provider, or both, and you can change that later. It's not a big deal what you want here. And then you would just put in your email, and then create a password. And then you would go in. And so when you sign up, there's a couple things you have to do in order to use the rest of the features of the platform. So right now, if you don't do anything, you actually won't be able to access the knowledge bank or the community module. So what you need to do, I'm sorry, this video pops up. This is how to use KIP101 video pops up at the beginning before you complete your profile and verify your email address. And so the first thing to do is to just check your email. And you should have gotten an email that says, please verify your email address. So this shows us that you have created a proper email account. So go there and click verify. And then you just need to fill out this profile module here. And so I'm just gonna go through here. You put in your name. The fields with the asterisk are mandatory. The other ones are optional. But you can put that in here. And then really the key here is that every user needs to select at least one identity. So if you're a knowledge seeker, you have to pick at least one. You could be a student, right, and just put in your school, or you could be an alum of a school. So I'm just going to put that in. University, BA. So you could just put that there. And if you're a knowledge seeker, that's all you have to do. Oh, wait, let me go verify my email address as well. I think it should have come up here. Okay, so this is mine. Confirm. Okay. So I've confirmed my email, and then now I come here. That should allow me to successfully save. Yes. So that means my email is verified, my profile is complete, and now I can actually go into either the community module and start connecting with people or the knowledge bank. So super easy if you're just a knowledge seeker. If, however, you want to be a knowledge provider, then you need to provide some information around kind of the knowledge you're able to provide. And so you would need to be, fill out at least the professional identity or the coach identity, one or the other. And so I'm just going to fill out the professional identity. So I'll say, for example, here, I'll put in the industry. I'll put in one function, put in years of experience, and then you have to add just one professional experience. And so put in my very first job out of college, which is at Lehman Brothers in the structured credit department. That was in New York, and that was back in, let's see here, it was a while ago. It was 04 to 08. There. So with this experience, I'm done with completing the identity fields, but I do need to indicate my availability. So I'm going to say I'm willing to share knowledge through both written content and conversations. I'm going to say I'm willing to talk to everyone, and I'm willing to talk to 3 people a month. And then I also want to indicate the types of conversations I'm willing to have. So I'll say happy to share my professional experiences and informational interviews, collaborations, and these don't really apply to me. So the top 3 apply to me. And then you can, anything you want knowledge seekers to know, right? You can put in here. So happy to have, 30-minute Zoom chats, Zoom or telephone or phone chats during the week. Okay. So I'll put that in here. And then I am done with my profile as a knowledge provider. And so that is, and so that's how it works. That completes the sign up process. So Michelle, I'll hand it back to you now, and then we can answer everyone's questions.
Okay, sounds good. So one thing that we're going to go over is a couple of questions. So if you have any questions that you really are curious about, feel free to put them in the chat or say something, turn the video off. But I think before that, we're going to go ahead and then talk a little bit about some frequently asked questions that, Grace is always getting, and then things that we can help you from first on. So let me just share my screen for a little bit. With me. So the first question we had for Grace, if you could answer it, was how do I initiate a conversation with a knowledge provider?
Right, that's a good question. So the technical answer is you would go into that profile that we saw earlier. We use Cindy's profile as an example, and then you would click on the message button, and then you can send them a note. And let's see here. Actually, there's one thing I want to show on the platform that I didn't show before. Can you give me screen sharing?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, great. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So the way you would do this is, let's say we click this person. Let's say we want to talk to them. Come here, you would message them. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to spin through credits and connect with them. And what I want to point out here, it's really for the benefit of people who aren't really used to reaching out to people, especially strangers, to have these kind of career chats or networking conversations, is that when you reach out to people, you want to be really concise. So here we actually suggest to people that the first time you reach out to someone, you should keep your note to maybe between 3 to 7 sentences. 3 is a bit on the short side, but given that it's on KIP101's platform, people know why you're contacting them because you're seeing this request come into the platform, so you can be a little bit even more concise there. But if you're reaching out to someone, generally I would say 5 or 6 sentences. You don't want to kind of swamp them with a really long detailed intro, because then you run into the risk of people not reading your email or thinking, oh, this is a nice email, I'll read it later, and then forgetting about it. And so you want to be concise. And there's, a lot of resources out there for how do you craft an email and how do you reach out to someone to have a conversation. And we've curated some of the best kind of articles and resources here. So like this link here takes you to a page that, shows you email templates and places you could get more ideas on what should you say to someone when you reach out to them. And not only that, but what should you say to them once you have that conversation, right? So the initial email outreach is just opening the door, but once you're there and you're meeting them face to face now, what questions to ask? How do you kind of run the conversation? And then also how to follow up afterwards, because it's all, it's one whole process. And for you to get the most out of every connection, you have to do all these 3 things. And so I want to point out that there's this resource here. This is kind of an abbreviated resource that we have actually directly linked into the platform, but we actually also have written a more detailed manual for people who want to get more kind of help, more guidance around networking and informational interviews. And so that article is located on our homepage. And so our homepage is www.kip101.com, which is separate from the app page, which is app.kip101.com. The homepage is here, www.kip101.com. There's a blog, and you can look at this article here, which is about 7 pages, which goes into a lot more detail about how to initially reach out to someone, for both professionals and students. You know, one of my favorite email templates is actually written by a college senior, a current college senior that I met recently, called Michael Riley. He's at Columbia, and he has just done such an amazing job of this whole process of reaching out to professionals to help him figure out his career path and his, future professional pursuits. And he has written a really good example cold email that I shared with everyone. So I have a link there. I have, we have more information about how to conduct conversations, how to tacitly sell yourself. And again, you could look later, but I wanted to point that out. But to kind of, in brief, kind of answer this question, how do you initiate a conversation with someone? A brief message that contains, that's very clear about why you're reaching out to them. Like to have a conversation with them, 15 to 20 minutes is generally a good thing to ask for. And then just like 1 or 2 things that you think might be captivating to them. So if it's another NAAAP member you're reaching out to, say, hey, I'm a fellow NAAAP member from this chapter, right? So just something to capture their attention with. So yeah.
Thank you, Grace. I think that's something I want to emphasize too, that this KIP101 platform really is a way for us to connect with other people, but also to Grace and her team has provided so much information on how you can do that very effectively and really use the platform to the best of its ability. So thank you so much for that. And kind of on a related note, the next question, which I'll screen share once more, but the next question is, how much time should I expect a conversation with a knowledge provider / knowledge seeker to take? So a little bit more context on, once you get into the platform, how do you get the ball rolling, and what are the expectations for that?
Yeah, that's good thing to ask as well. And it's generally to be respectful of the other people. I've seen, between 15 and 30 minutes would be your expectation. If you're the knowledge seeker and reaching out to someone to pick their brain, you should expect maybe 15 to 30 minutes. In a good way to kind of, manage a conversation is, around the 15-minute time, you can kind of start to say things like, oh, thank you so much for your time and for sharing. And that way that kind of signals to the other person that if they want to wrap things up, it's like, a good opportunity for them to wrap things up. But I've definitely seen conversations that go on much longer, right? If you hit it off with the person and you just have so much to talk about, it could go, 40 minutes, an hour. And so you just kind of have to play it by ear. And the goal of KIP101, really our goal is to make that initial connection. And so we want to make it very efficient for people to find relevant professionals to talk to. But once we make that connection, if it grows into a longer term relationship and becomes a long-term mentoring relationship or long-term professional friendship, that's fantastic. And so, keep that in mind. It's not necessarily something that you would definitely expect, but it's, the more people you meet, the more possibility that could happen.
So at least for the side of knowledge providers, and I guess their role, what is the best way that knowledge provider can help a knowledge seeker?
Right. So that, I feel like with a lot of knowledge providers, they have, they feel a little bit of pressure, like, oh, I need to deliver pearls of wisdom. I need to give them some really, really great advice that they can act on and have like immediate results. And I want to say to knowledge providers that you shouldn't really think like that, right? I think the goal for knowledge provider is, I'm here to share my experiences, right? And it might be even lessons learned, even that. I find that that's one of the things that happen with me whenever I talk to people. Like I say, here are the things I did wrong. Don't be like me, because they are kind of most vivid in my mind when I feel like, oh, there's something that I didn't do right. But I would just say with knowledge provider, just share, right? Just tell them your story, and let them take the info and do, get whatever they can get out of it. Because the advice, if you think in terms of I have to give them some super advice is very circumstance dependent. What's good advice in one circumstance may not be good advice in another. And so unless you truly understand the person and everything of their situation, it may be hard to give advice. And so I would just say, think of it as just sharing knowledge and sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you. One more question is, I see a knowledge provider who might be good for a friend of mine to talk to. Can I share the profile of the knowledge provider with my friend?
Yes. So actually, can you give me screen sharing again?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So what you can do, and this applies to both, like if your friend is not a member on KIP101, they can still see the profile of knowledge providers. So if you click on someone's profile, you'll see here, this link here, you can cut and paste and send to your friend, and they will be able to see the profile of this person. And then your own profile is actually located down here. So if you were interested in how you look on the network, you're a knowledge provider, and you want to see how other people see your profile, you can click this link. Because in the community module, you're actually not going to see yourself. The community module, you're only going to see people that you can talk to. So you're not going to show up on your own community module, but somebody will see you in their community search. And so yes, this is the profile link. Let me see here, that you can send to friends that you think should join the platform and connect with this particular person.
Thank you, Grace. So we do have one question. Is there an option to add a voice recording option and also maybe a video vlog option in terms of like connecting in any way?
Oh, you mean in terms of like instead of just sending them a message, you can actually send a voice recording?
I believe that someone had posed in the chat that was their question. But
yes, more of a voice recording and more of an empathetic approach instead of an email. We kind of take emails the wrong way sometimes, and yeah.
Interesting. I've never thought of that. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly a possibility to add that, and we'll look into it. It's kind of like when you are doing like WhatsApp or something, right? Where you can just like leave a little voice chat.
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't mean to butt in there, Michelle. And thank you, Grace. It was a great thing. I know us as being Asian Americans, and we're going to be the knowledge seekers. We're already kind of humble. We come from humble roots, so we don't like to bother the almighty people above to give us wisdom and knowledge. And sending an email is going to be even harder for us to even come up with the words. We're going to sit there. We're shaking. We're sweating already as it is, and we're nervous already. I'm just talking to you guys. I'm kind of nervous, and I'm just like, okay, how am I going to do this? But if I had a video button, I'd just push it and just start talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that perspective. It is so interesting because I would say I definitely agree with you. Like with Asian Americans, it's just reaching out is a lot harder for us in general. For me personally, I feel like if I write an email, I can kind of work it out and like write the right words exactly and send it. It would be a lot more intimidating for me to show a video or do a voice recording. But that's really interesting. I think that people like, yeah. So we'll definitely look into adding this as a feature.
And just because I would say that when a business profile, but when I look at a mentor, I look at it like a guidance counselor or a guide or a friend even. I don't really look at them professionally as a like a coach. I look at them as a friend, and that's why I would do that.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Thank you so much for putting yourself out there and posing that question, by the way. And thank you, Grace, for your answer. I think another question that people would want to know is, how can I get more credits if my credits run out?
Right. So the credits, currently there are 3 ways. Well, okay, there are 4 ways. So if you are, whether you're a knowledge seeker or knowledge provider, you can leave a review of a conversation that you've had. And it's a different type of review depending on, what kind of what your role is in a particular conversation. And any of those reviews will earn you 1 credit. We are, if you leave a career path review, you'll earn 6 credits for that. And you can leave more than 1. So if you've had 2 or 3 career paths, you can write a review about each of them and earn 6 credits each for that. You can also earn credits by referring friends, 1 credit per friend. And the credit system is something that we're continually developing and that we're adding more and more to. So there will be more features down the road where you can earn credits and where you can spend credits as well. And just as an example, one of the things that we have that are kind of in the works is group bonuses. So if you were to join a group, the group owner would in the future be empowered to give credit to their group members. And so it's a constantly developing feature, but you have about 3 or 4 different ways to earn credits at this moment.
Thank you. One more question that someone had posed. What is behind the name KIP101 and what do you envision it to become?
A great question. I'm sorry I didn't tell you what KIP101 stands for before. So it stands for Knowledge is Power One-on-One. And really to reflect that we're about knowledge sharing. So this is a platform that's really focused on people kind of exchanging their knowledge with each other. And particularly on a one-on-one basis, because we want people to get personalized knowledge. So when you're looking at career information, you can go online and you can do a Google search and there will be lots of material, but most of the time they're fairly generic. So we want people to be able to easily get kind of those very customized information that's geared towards their exact circumstance and their needs at the moment. And that's why it's called KIP101. Again, like in terms of what I envision for the future, it's all going to be focused around knowledge sharing. So when we started off, it was just the one-on-one conversations feature that we had. The knowledge bank feature is fairly new. We just launched that a couple months ago. But it's an example that we continually are trying to think of other ways for people to kind of share their knowledge with each other.
Thank you. Does the platform have a knowledge base where we can post how-to videos?
Oh, interesting. So the platform right now has a how-to video on how to use the platform. So I forgot to show it to you guys, but there's actually a question mark module. And in there, it actually gives the user information on how to work the platform. But I think your question is more around how to do things related to career. Am I saying that right, Lynn? Okay.
Yep, more of my if I was the knowledge provider.
You were the knowledge, right. So that's I understand the question. So it's right now, information that you want to share, you could do so in 2 kind of avenues. One is on your profile. So within your profile, there are actually like a couple of fields that are pretty open and you can really put whatever you want there. And then the other part is the knowledge bank, where you write about career path review, but you also, especially in the advice portion of the career path review, it's open-ended. And so if you wanted to, share kind of more extensive knowledge or even videos, you could put a link of the video there.
Got it. Thank you.
I think one last question before we maybe take some time to allow people to make profiles on their own if they want to. This one last question is this specific to Asian professionals?
No. So really the kind of the vision here is an extremely large open community of professionals of all backgrounds. And really this is, I'm kind of getting more into maybe more like the overarching strategy part of the platform. But one thing that makes KIP101 really different from other platforms that offer to connect people for career purposes and for networking is this concept of the open community, right? So like we want every person, every professional to join the platform. Now within this open community, there are private communities that are also can be built in there, and NAAAP is an example. So when you sign up using NAAAP's invite code, you will join NAAAP's group and therefore have access to NAAAP knowledge providers who have said, I'm willing to talk to NAAAP people. At the same time, you also have access to non-NAAAP knowledge providers who have elected to say, I'm willing to talk to everyone. And so the idea is this combination here, and we're trying to really tap into the availability of everyone based on, everyone's availability is different, and we're basically trying to optimize that. And so if you're available once a month to everyone, that's great. If you're available 3 times a month, but only to members of your group, that's fine as well. You can make that choice, and then at least the people that you're willing to talk to will benefit from it. And so, this is different from many other platforms which are more closed, and they say we're going to build a platform just for our community, just for our group, or just for our school, and no one else can log in. And that's not the goal here. The goal here is try to make it as large as possible and to have the best of both worlds. So private community when when you need it, but also open community with the people who have volunteered their time for everyone and not just people in their sphere.
Thank you. So I think we might have some people who are super eager and might have already created accounts while this conversation was happening. But if you haven't already, I encourage everyone to go to the KIP101 website, app.kip101.com, and create a profile for KIP101 and go ahead and use the access code NAAAP39 that Grace was mentioning, and go through all the instructions and based on the walkthrough that she went to. And if you do have any questions right now, we have the founder right here who can answer those for you. So feel free to ask. And I think one thing we're going to end off on is sharing a little bit about, so this platform is really about how you can connect with other people and how you can meet other people. So one thing that we wanted to show is how you can really share this with other people in your network and encourage other people to join. So I'm going to share my screen right now. I'm on the NAAAP website. So this is naap.org. One thing you can go to is the news section. And then here you'll find all of our press releases and statements, but you'll also find the Introducing KIP101 and NAAAP blog post. And here is where you're going to find a lot of the information that we talked about today. So this webinar, what really the background was, and a lot of things that Grace had talked about. So benefits, goals, how you use it, how do you sign up. So if you're looking for more information, there's also a fact sheet that we had made to easily show you, all of that information in one place, and you can easily forward this information to a friend. And I also encourage you to go to KIP101.com to really look at the information that Grace had talked about and kind of just browse through everything on your own and reach out to either, me, Cindy, Grace, Eileen, if you have any questions. So we're always here as a resource. And of course, we hope to see you on KIP101. So maybe we can connect with each other and have those one-on-one conversations. But are there any other questions or anything that anyone would want to know? I'm going to put the code in the chat.
Hey, Michelle, it's Marika. I just wanted to find out, this is a lot of really great information because we didn't really know anything at all about KIP101, But will this video be available to the NAAAP membership? Because it's a really great overview of how to use the program.
Yes, so this video will be sent out to NAAAP membership, and also, like I mentioned, the website is also there. So we're going to send it to our networks and try to make sure that, you know, everyone in NAAP is aware of this, because we really want to make sure that NAAP members especially have a place where they can connect with each other and be that one NAAP that we've always talked about. Any other questions?
Hi, yes, I do have one. How many different industries participate in this?
That's a good question. So I actually don't know off the top of my head exactly how many, but what you actually can do is go into the community module and search for the industries that you're interested in. So we have a very wide-ranging representation of industries right now, which I can tell you, but not everyone, because after all, we are still just starting out. So there's about 500 users. But we have anywhere from people who, you know, have worked for the CIA to someone who works in real estate or finance, or is in acting, in entertainment, in film or social work. So it's a pretty diverse, and the goal is to have all of those industries and all of those function types represented down the road.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Any other questions before we sign off? All right.
I have a quick comment real quick. I want to thank you for this platform. It was very much needed. I know in 2019, when we had the leadership event at Medtronics, that's all they talked about. Like, where do we find these mentors? Where can we go? There's like nothing out there right now that says mentor. And now that you guys come up with this, you guys really listen to us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you. And you know, I you know, just want to say thank you all for joining today and for your time and to look through this and to give us ideas and to ask your questions. If you have any ideas or feedback, feel free to contact me or the NAAAP team. I think Michelle could share our contact info afterwards. I hope this platform is useful for everyone, and I hope that you will go out and help spread the word, and so that we can get this to be as vibrant as possible as soon as possible. And so,
Thank you.
sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all. We're gonna make sure to have this recording for you available. Like I mentioned, website's also there in our contacts. Feel free to let us know if you have questions. So thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Michelle.